Hey, what's up, guys? It's Count Chocula. I just got back from seeing the Deadpool movie and thought I would just do a quick review, give some quick impressions of the movie, right off the top of my head. I'm not going to edit this or anything. I'm just going to let it roll. And I was just dying to share my thoughts about this movie after just getting back from it. It's late. Really should probably be in bed, but I just couldn't help myself. So, one thing I wanted to say about this movie is a prime example of what happens when a movie studio just lets go and lets the creators and the people that know the source material just have at it. And I was watching a comic book panel with Ryan Reynolds, who's the star of Deadpool, and the first time director, the director of Deadpool, Tim Miller, who this is his directorial debut. So my hat's off to that creative team, and my hat's off to Fox Studios for letting them run with this. And when I go see a comic book movie and I see the Fox 20th Century Fox logo at the beginning of the movie, I usually expect the worst. Now, a few of the X-Men movies have been okay, but they've taken a lot of liberties with the universe, and Deadpool is here to kind of point out some of those glaring mistakes that they've made with the universe, and the movie pulls no punches, making fun of itself, making fun of the lead actor. Making fun of some of the choices that have been made with the X-Men universe as it regards to the comic book movies. So let's just get into where the movie starts. Basically, there was a trailer that was kind of leaked, I guess you could say, leaked on purpose. It was about a year and a half ago, I believe. Give or take a few months. And it got everyone really hyped for this movie. And I remember seeing the trailer. It had the car flipping over and the still frame of Deadpool saying, "Did I leave the oven on?" I mean, he's in the middle of a fight with a bunch of guys. There's gunfire everywhere, and he in typical Deadpool fashion, he's just acting crazy and just seemed to be having fun while he's fighting. So everyone's seen that trailer. I mean, if you're a comic book fan or a moviegoer, not everyone, but the majority of people have seen that trailer. This is exactly how the movie starts. The movie starts with the trailer, and it's word for word. Nothing's left out. And it was really a great choice by the studio, because they've been trying to get this movie made for the longest time. Now, the other controversy with the movie, the big controversy, I should say, with the movie is the rated R. They were wanting to push for a PG-13 version. They've got to realize that PG-13 and Deadpool, it's not going to work. All right, you either go Deadpool, you either go full-on Deadpool rated R, vulgarity, nudity, gratuitous violence, or you don't do the movie at all. There's no in between, because a rated PG version of this movie just would not work. I mean, this would be a terrible movie without all of that, because that's what Deadpool is. It's violent. It's just horrific violence with the character being a smartass, and it's a parody of comic book. It's basically a parody of comic books. So anyway, the movie starts out. He's in the taxi cab. Hi, I'm Mr. I'm Pool, dead. He's making introductions, and you kind of learn that it's been a year since he's become Deadpool, and he's out to avenge the guy that made him this way. Now, he is, if you don't know the character, the Weapon X experiments that made him Deadpool also left him disfigured, and there was a really sadistic villain named Ajax that was behind making him this way. Now, on the flip side, or the positive side, if you can call it a positive side, is that Wade Wilson, who is Deadpool, acted by Ryan Reynolds, he had terminal cancer. So they did cure his cancer, and they gave him a souped up healing factor, much like Wolverine's, but it's actually off the charts. It's actually stronger healing factor than Wolverine. So it basically makes Deadpool. It doesn't make him unkillable, but it does make him. It makes him virtually immortal. There may be a way to kill the guy, but he can regenerate limbs, which you'll see in the movie. It's just a pretty cool power to have. But the downside is they turned him into, they disfigured him. So he's not real happy about that. Now, during the beginning of the movie, he's tracking down the villain named Ajax, and he waits for Christmas Day, and he says the guy's on his naughty list. One more thing before I get into more of the movie. One of the best parts of the movie is the opening credit scene. I've never heard an audience laugh out loud. The audience just went crazy at the opening credit scene. It is so funny. It's just poking fun at movies. Instead of showing the actors' names, it says, like a hot guy or, an emotional teenager. And, the director, it's directed by a douchebag. It's just freaking hilarious. I don't know. I didn't even know if we were going to be able to enjoy the movie because there was so much laughter in the first 5 minutes of the movie. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, I'm dying to go see it again because it's just some of the it's still striking me as funny even hours later. I'm just thinking about some of the gags and jokes and parodies in the movie, and I'm still laughing. So you have to pardon me on that. But anyway, he's tracking down. He's on this overpass of the highway. You can see it in the trailer. You're basically watching the first 2-3 minutes of the movie when you watch the trailer, and he pretty much wrecks the whole crew, and he's cornered the guy. He's captured the guy, the villain named Ajax, and one of the members of the X-Men shows up. It's Colossus, and he's with his little partner, his little sidekick. It's Negasonic Teenage Warhead, which is a character that I believe was in the New Mutants. I could be wrong about that, but it was in one of the X-Men spinoffs in the early 2000s. There was a character that they killed off, and they actually changed the entire character. It's not the character from the comic book. It actually resembles one of the original New Mutants, a young mutant named Cannonball. Has almost the exact same powers. But anyway, and she's like a young teenage girl and being mentored by Colossus, and it's the only two X-Men in the movie. But you see a flashback of Colossus. They're in Xavier's mansion watching the news, and they see a report about a guy in a red suit that's just killing everyone. And Colossus is like, it's that Deadpool guy. We've tried to get him to join the X-Men, but he just won't. So he takes himself and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, which is named after a song by a band. I can't remember the name of the band, but it's pretty funny. So anyway, they get into the X jet, and they fly over, and they're trying to basically recruit Deadpool. They're actually really just they actually are really saying you can't go around killing people. But they do want to recruit him because he's got a mutant gene. He's not actually a mutant, but the experiment that made him into a mutant, theoretically everyone has a dormant mutant gene in their body, and Deadpool was tortured and experimented on to activate that dormant mutant gene, and it just so happened to give him the incredible healing factor. But of course, Deadpool, being Deadpool, doesn't want any part of this. He's just out for revenge. Um, he's found out that the guy that did the experiments on him, Ajax, the villain, has kidnapped his girlfriend, who, you know, of course, is a stripper prostitute named Vanessa, which is the exact. They took her exactly from the comic books. I mean, in the comic books, you know, Wade Wilson, you know, he hangs out in strip clubs. He's that kind of guy, and of course, you know, he tries to date prostitutes. I mean, what are you gonna do? But anyway, so so he has a run in with Colossus, and you know, he tells Colossus he doesn't want to, you know, he doesn't want any part of his X-Men bullshit. But in the meantime, the villain escapes. So this is where you kind of the movie kind of takes a 180 on you, and you kind of, it delves into the origins. It gets a little bit more serious at this point, and it delves into the origin of Deadpool. You get to see him. You get to see him being recruited by a guy who tells him about a Weapon X program. They don't tell him it's a Weapon X program. Basically, they're dangling the cure. Said, we know you have terminal cancer, and we have a experimental program that can cure you. What they're really not telling him is they're going to turn him into they're going to turn him into a living weapon. He's already a ex special forces agent. He's good with guns and knives. You know, he's already good at martial arts and fighting. I mean, he's an assassin, a mercenary. That's basically what he was doing out, you know, after he got out of the special forces. He was just kind of a personal mercenary. And there are some funny scenes regarding that in the origin story. I won't get into that. But so anyway, you know, he finally realizes when he gets into this experimental program, and they're strapping him down on a gurney, and that their plan is to make him into a super slave that they can sell off to the highest bidder, you know, to other countries, or, you know, for covert operations or whatever. And the guy that's running it, who actually was part of the Weapon X program, who has basically the same power, you know, the same abilities, mutant abilities that Deadpool has. You know, he's got a little bit of enhanced strength and the healing factor and everything like that. He's the one that is in charge of doing the experiments on Deadpool, and he takes it a little far, and the movie kind of takes a disturbing turn. My wife was with me, who she actually had a panic attack during some of these scenes, because some of these scenes are disturbing, and it's around the middle of the movie where they do the experiments on him, and they put him in like an oxygen deprivation chamber, stuff like that. It's the movie takes a direct turn. There's not much humor in this part. So and the villain Ajax, his assistant, is Gina Carano, the ex MMA fighter, beautiful woman, but they make her into character Angel Dust, who's from the comic books, and she was part of the experiment as well, and she's got enhanced strength and durability and all of that. So anyway, as you can kind of imagine, Wade Wilson doesn't appreciate being disfigured. Like the experiment actually ends up disfiguring him really bad. So he doesn't appreciate that. So he also has to endure a lot of torture. So, you know, he pretty much goes insane, and that kind of explains. I mean, Wade Wilson was kind of off his rocker a little bit before being experimented on. I mean, he takes it to another level when he's Deadpool. But anyway, there's a lot of little references in the movie. You know, about there's a lot of Easter eggs about the Marvel Universe. It's pretty cool how they come up with the name Deadpool. That's one of the that's one of the more funnier that's one of the funnier parts of the movie is them, him coming up with the name of the character, him making the suit. They give a they kind of give a reference to his X-Force suit, which is, I think the original Deadpool X-Force suit was white, and it's really funny how the little montage scene where he's trying to make his costume and kind of testing out costumes. So anyway, finally, a blind lady at a laundromat says, you're making a costume, make it red, you idiot. If you get, to cover up the bloodstains. So don't make your costume white. And then, but she does give him advice for like getting bloodstains out of his costume. So it's really funny. So anyway, after he's experimented on, he doesn't want to face his girlfriend anymore. They have a pretty touching scene where him and Vanessa realizes that they go to the doctor. They realize Wade Wilson's going to die. He's got terminal cancer, and he doesn't want to stick around to have her witness him deteriorating from cancer. So that's pretty much the main plot point, that he, after the experiment, she doesn't even know that he's alive, and he's disfigured. He doesn't want to confront her, but later on in the movie, everything gets resolved. He figures out that he can't hide behind that mask forever. So it's a really good movie. The end battle, you'll see it takes place on a Shield helicarrier, which you don't realize it's a Shield helicarrier until like the final scene where they zoom out, and it's like a destroyed Shield helicarrier. So it's kind of a kind of a jab at the Avengers, movies. Not really a jab, but it's just kind of a little reference there to the Avengers movies. But there's a ton of little references to the movie where Ryan Reynolds is poking fun at the Green Lantern movie. He's poking fun. Oh, they really make fun of Hugh Jackman in the movie. There's a great scene where, one of the best scenes in the movie, where he finally reveals his disfigured face to his girlfriend that was kidnapped after she's rescued, and he's taped a picture of Hugh Jackman's face over his disfigured face after he takes off the mask. I mean, it's an hilarious scene. There's some other great scenes in the movie where he gets stabbed in the head and he sees little animated cartoons on the movie, on the movie screen. I think they refer to it in the comic books as pool vision. So you see his point of view on that, where there's little cartoon. He's laying on the ground with a dagger in the side of his skull, and his girlfriend is, he's in the process of rescuing his girlfriend, and his girlfriend is laying there. They're kind of staring at each other while they're laying on the ground, and they have little animated characters on the screen. He breaks the fourth wall. I mean, Deadpool's famous for breaking the fourth wall in the comic books. They do that a few times, and then they even reference that they're doing it. So I'm trying to think of some of the other little references. They have he's got a weapons guy named Weasel. I forget the actor that plays him. He's really good. That he goes to, and he's kind of a bartender. It's a scene where he goes into the bar, and the weapons guy is always behind the bar. He's the bartender, and they keep it's kind of a bar for the mercenaries, and they keep kind of a running, what they call it, the Deadpool, and up on a chalkboard is seeing they make bets within the people, the patrons at the bar make bets to see who's going to die on the next mission, and if you can. Anybody that's that could get a screenshot of that board that they keep behind the bar. It's got a lot of names on it. It's got like Bill Cosby, Charlie Sheen. There's a lot of funny names up on that chalkboard. I was trying to read it from the movie theater. I couldn't quite get it, so I'm probably gonna have to see the movie again just to it'd almost be worth it seeing again just to see that board and see all the names on the board. But like I said, there's tons of little references. The ending credit scene. There are like two ending credit scenes technically, because if you ever seen the end of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, they do a parody of that, which is really funny. But then they pause for like 5 seconds, and then they come back, and he whether or not this is true, if they're just doing this for the movie, he's kind of like, what'd you expect? Sam Jackson to show up with an eye patch and all that. I mean, it's just the references to the other comic book movies just go on and on. You can't. There's no way to catch them all in one sitting. You're gonna have to see this movie multiple times just to try to, maybe bring a notebook and just try to write down all the Easter egg references in the movie. But anyway, I know I'm kind of rambling. I'm kind of everywhere on this, but I mean, what are you gonna do? So anyway, at the very end, he tells about Deadpool 2, and the character says, "We're gonna have cable. We're gonna have cable in the movie." I mean, he just comes out and saying it. They don't give any like little subtle hints like the Avengers movies did. He just said, "Hey guys, Deadpool 2 is coming, and it's gonna have cable in it. It's pretty cool. He's a time traveler and all that." So, I mean, this movie, just like the character itself, it breaks all the rules when it comes to the comic book genre. So anyway, I know I've missed a ton of stuff that I could be talking about, and I guess this isn't really a review. This is just kind of me reminiscing about some of the funny parts of the movie. But bottom line, the movie is hilarious. It's a great movie. It's not a movie for kids. There are some disturbing parts. Most of the jokes work. There's a few jokes they could have left out. There's a little bit of nudity in the movie. Stripper scenes and stuff like that. Like I said, there's no way this movie would be any good if it were PG or PG-13 even. It would ruin the whole spirit of the movie. So I highly recommend the movie. It's not a perfect comic book movie. It's the closest, I would say it's the closest to being perfect to the comics of any comic book movie that's been made to date. Guardians of the Galaxy was pretty close. But to me, this one's right up there with Guardians of the Galaxy. One thing I kind of liked about the movie, it's got more of the indie feel to it. Kind of reminds me of the Dread movie that they made a few years ago. There's a lot of the stop action freeze frame type, bullet in the air, but they don't overdo it. It's not Matrix like, where that's like the core of the movie revolves around that, but it's basically they can insert some kind of visual gag or something to that effect. There's a really funny scene at the beginning that wasn't in the trailer. It's near the beginning of the movie where Deadpool, one of the running gags in the movie is Deadpool takes a taxi cab. Like all the encounters with villains that he ever runs into in the movie, he's always taking a taxi cab to the scene, and he has a duffel bag. He has a Hello Kitty duffel bag, full of Uzis and guns and all the guns, and he always forgets the duffel bag. That's kind of the running joke. So, at one point in the movie, he had 12 bullets. I think it was 12 bullets, and he's counting off the bullets while he's fighting the guys. It's just a hilarious scene, and as poor Deadpool, nothing ever goes right for the guy. So, the basic common theme of the movie is anything bad that can happen to you probably will if you are in Deadpool's universe. But anyway, bottom line, if I were to rate the movie on a scale 1 to 10, I'd probably I'd give it like a 9.5. It's that good. Um, there's a few little issues with the movie, but other than that, they pretty much nailed this movie dead on. So I am going to go see the movie again sometime, probably this weekend. So anyway, I may be making a video trying to point out a lot of the Easter eggs in the movie, but that's gonna really contain a hell of a lot of spoilers. So, like I said, if you're a comic book movie fan, even if you're not, go out and see the movie. It's a great movie. Score one for Fox Studios. They didn't get a lot of the X-Men movies right, and Deadpool lets them know about it. There's a few references, especially knocking some of the X-Men movies. So you'll pick up on them. It's pretty funny. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I know I was kind of rambling on in the video, and it's not really a review. The movie speaks for itself. Doesn't really need to be reviewed. It's a great movie. You'll laugh a lot. I laughed at this movie more than I've laughed out loud in the movie theater, and more than just about any movie I've ever seen. So, and that's usually not the case for a comic book movie. So anyway, guys, this is Count Chocula. Hope you liked the video. Hope it entertained you. You might be thinking that you can't get 25 minutes of your life back after watching me ramble on about this movie, but oh well. Anyway, so if you like the movie, or if you if you like the video, go out and see the movie. Give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna go to bed now. I'll see you later.